Hello, and welcome. My name is MiniBetrayal, and this is Factorio 1 per minute, episode 3. In the last episode, we got this set up, and I left you at the end of the last episode with me going to go and make some outposts, which I have done. So let me give you a quick look at what I've managed to do so far. So this was the one we started with, our stone outpost. That's done. We have smaller stone outposts over here. I think they're the only two stone outposts I have. I can't actually remember. It's been actually a little while since I've played on this map. We have iron and copper. We've got a couple of other iron ones around as well. Another copper one over here. Now this one here is also supplying copper to the main base, because the main base was not doing very well with a copper supply. It's still a little bit on the icky side. At least, actually iron is the problem with the main base now. Let's see, where are my iron supplies for the main base coming from? Let's do it this way around. So, iron, what trains come? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trains. And we've still not got enough. Mostly because they're all queued up at iron 2 by the looks of it. Where is iron 2? It's down here. Yeah, that's running out. Okay, well, let's keep going with mining productivity, I think, in the meantime. Of course, that will just end up using more iron, no doubt. We've got a reasonable backlog of science, though. Even up here, yeah, even the yellow science is backed up. Okay, yeah, so iron and copper. We have coal. Actually, that's coal outpost 4. Where's an outpost coal? Outpost coal. Here's outpost coal. We also have uranium. So this is our outpost uranium. Of course, uranium isn't working at the moment because we have no sulfuric acid production on our main bus. Let's see, what were the other ones we want? Iron, copper, coal, stone, uranium. Okay, oil. Let's see, where do we have oil? Okay, we've got an outpost oil over here. All beaconed, all with level 3 speed modules. We have another outpost oil over here. And another outpost oil up there. I think they're the only ones I've gone for at the moment. Yeah, that's an old one. We do have more available. There is this one available, but that's nearer the old train network than the new one. There's a nice big one up there, another big one there. I think we're alright for oil at the moment though. Water lives down here. The trains don't have to go far, just from over there to here and back. And that fills up nice and quickly. Now, of course, the other two that I mentioned are fish and wood. I tried to do what I said. I really did try. This whole area, which was full of forests, no longer is full of forest. I have deforested the whole thing, and yeah, there just wasn't enough wood to get the... What was the limit I set it to? 30k? I didn't think I set it as high as 30k. One of these is a wood train, this one. Okay, 20k. Apparently I have 30k in there though. That's alright. So what I have done is I have downloaded a mod. I think this particular mod is called tree cloning. And essentially what it does is it adds a recipe. Let me grab one of these. For tree cloning, and what this does is it takes one raw wood, takes 300 seconds and then spits out 2 raw wood. So this setup up here, miles out of the way, but that's alright. Each of these inserters are set to only pick up 1 item. So when this one finishes, it will output 1 item into this box where it will get picked up by a robot, and it will output another into this one, which will then move on to the next cycle. Meanwhile, this one will put 1 wood back into here, so it will continue again. So that is all continuing. Again, that's all sped up as high as I can make it go, 400% higher than normal. And then we've just got a normal station here. Fish, I did start, as I suggested, building out into the middle of the lake. I have a station here and all these roboports up here, which do have the construction bots in there. The idea being that I could, every once in a while, just go and deconstruct some fish. They would come back, put them in the boxes, and would be all fine and dandy. There wasn't enough fish. Oh yes, that's my new alert sound for rockets launching, because that siren I had was starting to get on my nerves. So there we go, there's a new rocket. What was I saying? Oh yes, not enough fish. So I have downloaded another mod. What this one does is it puts in this new building called an aqua farm. The mod you can see there is called Versiples Aqua Farm, and it gives you this building, and if you put it down near where a fish currently is, it will just infinitely generate fish once every 1, 2, 3, 4, every 4 to 5 seconds by the looks of it. So I've got 3 of them up there, I've got another 2 there, and did I put any more in? No. I was playing with another mod that enabled you to put fish in a barrel, I think it was, and then put the barrel into the ocean and it would repopulate with fish. But that wasn't quite as productive, I don't think. So in fact I can actually get rid of that and that. Actually, let's keep that one, so we've got the radar there. And that is... actually, where is that fish? Oh, it's down there. Okay. Yeah, so that's all we've managed to do so far. Today, we're going to get started on the actual bus. So we're going to get some stuff done. Ooh, there's quite a lot of fish in there. Oh, thank you, autosave. I just want to get rid of some fish. Where did all of those fish go? Right, let's put bots in there. I know I just... Oh, they're all in my trash, that's fine. Okay. Right, pick them up. Oh, God damn it. What do I not need? A pipe. That can go away. I had nukes equipped. Let's try that one again, shall we? Okay, so let's get rid of that pipe. Let's unequip the nukes and just destroy that. Pick up that one. What do I still have too much of? Too much of everything. Oh, I can't get rid of that because I don't have a rail. I do have a rail. Get rid of that. Pick that up. Get rid of that. Now I can pick up the wooden chests. Okay. So, difficulties. Okay. Anyway, our buffer is full. The buffer's... I must have miscalculated something because the buffer's quite a bit bigger than it apparently needs to be. But that's alright. We've got water down there, oil down there. Let's get started making a smelter. Okay, so I've done some numbers stuff, and I think I have worked out that with a setup like this, where each smelter has a crafting speed of 9.4 and a productivity of 1.2. We need 25 to saturate one blue belt. And I also know that we need 17.6, so 18, belts of iron plates. So what I need is 18 of these guys, but longer. Okay, so I have actually just run out of blue belts, of course, but I think this will do nicely. So that I've put a little balancer on the end in addition to this. We'll just have to see how that does for compression, otherwise I might have to redesign it. But for iron, we want 18 of these guys. And then for copper, we want 12. And then for steel, we want 2. And then for stone brick, we can get away with just 1 of them. And then I think that's all the smelting we need to do. So let's get started with that. So, here we go. This is the smelting array that we need for iron and for copper plates. 18 lines of iron, 12 lines of copper. I was going to go in and do the steel and stone bricks as well, however, of course, they have different ratios because stone bricks take 2 stone to make and steel takes 5 iron plates to make, as well as taking 5 times as long, so they'll need different lengths to get full belt compression and stuff. However, as you can see, a couple of things. Firstly, everything is flashing yellow. First is, well, that is because I haven't hooked it up to power. I have not hooked it up to power because about, what's that, half, maybe 3/5 draw with about 700 megawatts without it. If I plug that in, there, just a full gigawatt being used, and it's not enough. It's yeah, it's about exactly right. But anyway, I essentially don't have enough power for this yet, so I'm going to have to increase power production. Also, you'll notice a lot of these little blue things. I do not have enough modules for all of this yet. So, looking at over here, yeah, these aren't doing anything because of the iron shortage. So I had 2 options at this point. Either I could go and find another iron deposit that isn't currently being used for something. You know, there's one over there, 7.4 million. 18 million there, I guess I could go and get that one. That would be part of the old train network, though. The other option I had was, because, you know, this old base, I want to say I'm finished with it. I don't want to have to keep going back to it. So I cheated. So in here, just hooked in, we have 95 million iron ore, also 95 million copper ore. Thank you, autosave. Oh, rocket being launched. And just fully speed beaconed miners. So that gives us just about 4 compressed belts of each of those. So, I mean, the base is built for 8 compressed belts, so it's still not perfect. And I have been using quite a lot of materials for the inserters, the belts, and of course the furnaces themselves, but as well as doing science. So a lot of that is getting used up before it even gets close to the module production. So what I'm going to do, now I've put that in, I am going to... Oh, the other thing I did was I turned priority away from steel, because too much steel was being made. I now suspect that far too little steel is being made, but I'll get a balance there. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is I am just going to let this run. I won't do any more science. I'm going to build up a stockpile of beacons, of modules, of the materials I need, because that is massive. That is... I would go as far as to say that's bigger than the smelting array I have up here. And this is beaconed as well. So, yeah, this is going to take a lot. In the meantime, I will get around to actually moving this stuff out of the way, which I said I would. I would also probably make another nuclear module, if you like, because this does what? That does 40 megawatts worth. But I'll figure it out. I'll probably need another one, if not two, of these. Got more than enough nuclear fuel for it. Just need to actually build the damn thing. Let's think. Yeah, most of the work I've done today has actually been not necessarily off camera, because you'll have seen it. But it hasn't been that interesting. So I will actually come back this episode and finish off this. Luckily, you don't have to wait around for that, thanks to the magic of technology. So, as it turns out, my recording crapped itself, so you don't get to see me actually build anything. So the rest of this episode is basically me going to give you a little bit of a tour so you can see what I've done already. I have finished what I think should be a working smelting area. I'm standing at the moment on what will be the top boundary of my entire bus. I've lined it up with my blue circuit production, red circuit production, and my oil into solid fuel and rocket fuel area, which I'm just going past now. And I've got these belts on it just to help me move back and forward a little bit faster. Let's hop back on if I can. Legs make me too fast. Okay, so a couple of things. While I was working on it, I got sick of running back and forward to this area up here to sort out trains, make sure things were still running. So I hopped back into the creative mode mod and just gave myself well, you can see what I gave myself. 20 billion copper, 20 billion iron, and just 5.4 billion iron that goes towards steel. What's going on here? Where's that? That's the middle of nowhere. I'll fix those between episodes. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. Yeah, so each of these now just feed directly into the smelting area for the old base. I essentially just want to leave my old base as is. The limiting factor for it at the moment is steel. I can do science pretty much constantly, apart from the rockets, which are being limited by the not rocket control units, the low density structures, which are limited by the steel. And you can see that if we just go back on the bus, the steel is looking awful. But I'm going to leave it. Moving on, bigger, better things. I can't remember if I already showed you the power. This is my new power setup. I've moved uranium processing for the old plant, the old base out the way. Smelting. What I did have was not wrong, but not as efficient. I found a setup with this sort of diagonal thing online. It's more efficient, it's more space efficient, therefore more beacon efficient, therefore vastly more power efficient than my setup. And I haven't yet tested it. I've left everything unplugged, but I am led to believe that it is will also compress a blue belt. So a slight tweak, because the one I found had the input out here and the input up here and the output down here. So a slight tweak just to swap that around so the input and output are both at the top. And then we have our iron, our copper. This one here is for stone into stone brick. We don't need very many stone bricks at all, a little more than a third of a blue belt, and by my calculations that should be enough. And then coming underneath it we have a bunch of the iron that we made come along here, go down here into steel production. The numbers are a little bit weird here. The way what we need is 1.8 something blue belts of steel, which should come from 7.8 something blue belts of iron. So I've fed in 8, I'm bringing out 2. These 2 won't be entirely compressed, but I have that shouldn't cause an issue anyway, and I've also given a nice nameplate down here. So I've put in a little path here as well, just to help me run back and forth. Oh, there we go. So now on the bus we have 2 lines of steel at the top. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 12 remaining lines of iron plates, or it works out as 11 point something. We have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lines of copper plates. We still have 1 line of iron ore, because that is used for what is it used for? Concrete, that's the one. It's used for concrete. And even though copper ore is not used for anything else, it is an in-game item, so we still need to have 1 of it per minute at the end of the bus. So that will remain on the bus there. We've then got our stone bricks, and we still have the coal, uranium, wood and fish, plus whatever stone is left over. So all that remains now is to actually test this and see what breaks first. Oh, that's the radar up top that's missing. Okay, I've got belts on me. Yep, let's plug this in and see how we go. Yeah, so that kicks back into action because of course these chests will then request. They look to be compressed nicely. That seems to be working on the compression side of things with that loading thing anyway. Okay, so is that only loading on one side, or is... Okay, yeah, this is only loading one side of the belt. Okay, what happens if I change that to that? Does that compress both sides of the belt? If it does, and if it keeps doing that, then I can quite happily just change these splitters into just mixers like that. That seems to be working nicely. Okay, I will do that. Let's go back further down the bus, see how things are going. Same issue with the copper. Alright, well, it's working apart from that loading one side of the belt thing. We're even getting steel coming through. I will swap out these splitters for just side loaders, just to make sure that we are getting proper compression. And I think that there's actually not a lot else to do this episode. Next episode, we're going to start work on fluids. That's what comes next on my spreadsheet. So we'll have oil, petroleum, heavy and light oil, lubricant, steam as well. Steam is an in-game item. So we'll work all on that next episode. In the meantime, I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon.